Hi, Kathy here from KathysKuteKreations. Yes, my voice still is kind of weird, but that's all right. I'm getting a lot better. My ears are still, both my ears are plugged up now, but that's okay. I'm so used to it, I'm not going to know what it's like to have them unplugged. They got like a vibration going on every time I talk, so I try not to talk too much. This is week 2 of Homemade Holiday. Alrighty, so I have my printout, and then I also have my fabric sheet. You want to keep that handy unless you've gone and marked all the colors of your fabric, but I didn't. All I did was mark the sizes. So what you do is check it and double check to see that you got them all. What I do is I lay it out on this design board, which I'll show you here in a minute, and I just strictly go based on this. I just take my A and I go through here and I find all these sizes and I lay it down here on my design board, and then I do the C. I think it is a C? No, D. I can't see in the... There we go. Okay, D next, E and F. So that's the 4 colors we're going to be using. And remember now, I changed out my green for blue. So mine's not going to match this because, as you can see here, it's all in green there. But that's not what mine's going to look like. It's going to be blue. So first, let's go ahead and we're going to use 16 of the 2.5-inch square triangles, which you would have had 44 totally. They want, it actually says 32 for week 2, so it wants you to start out taking 16 of them, but when you read your directions, the second, let me show you here, so the second one here listed right here, because the top is all of your, in your case, your green or whatever color you're using for your background, and then you can see right here where it says how many you need to pull out. So I've got 32 of them pulled out, but the directions at the very beginning say take 16 of them. So that's what we're doing. You just need to pay attention to your directions so you don't get messed up. And there was plenty of fabric left over, so if I need to cut something out, and you know, if I made a mistake, I don't have an issue with that. So we're going to take 16 of them, and what we're going to do, which if you are not new, you already know how to do this. We're going to take it, and in my case, I'm going to use, I'm trying to think what color will I be able to see, because my blue is kind of dark. Probably my pink would show up on this. If not, I've got a pencil or I've got a white marker, but we're going to mark it from one corner here diagonally down to the other corner, and we're going to do 16 of them, and then we're going to lay it against, I believe, let's see, it wants 16 D's and 16 E's, which is your red and your green, if you're going by this color wave here. So it doesn't have to be this exact green if you've changed your colors up. I mean, if you've changed up your design, that's fine. It can be any red or green, or if you've changed it and you made it other colors, that's fine too. And we'll use them, and we're going to put them diagonally on the rectangle, and then we're going to have one going one way and one going another way, so that it's going to actually look like flying geese, except the top where the nose meets is going to be larger than a 1/4 inch. I'll show you what I'm talking about here on this piece of paper, if I can pick it up. So right here, that picture right there looks like a flying geese, except you can tell that instead of a 1/4 inch, it looks like it may have a 1/2 inch. Okay, so that's what our overall purpose is of doing number 1. So let's get started, but I'm going to go ahead and show you all my fabric here on my design board, okay? Now there's my design board. This is all the fabric we're going to use, so you want to pick this out. This is our 4.5-inch squares. We have 4 of them. These are the rectangles I was talking to you about. And then these are the 3 blue, because this is the blue I'm using for my background, okay? You can use any color you want. So let's go ahead, and the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and mark these squares first, and then we're going to apply them to this. Alrighty, so what I'm showing you is if I mark it with this white pencil, which is this, I'll show you right here, watercolor. It's just a white pencil. It'll look like that, which is actually the best. Here is my friction pen, which is a number 7. It actually looks better in the camera. And then here is my pencil. So any of them will work. the one that is the easiest to see is going to be the white, of course. Now it's all going to take time because you're going to do 16 for the left side and 16 for the right side. I know it said to use 16 of those, but I believe it means 16 for each. It may just be a typo, just to let you know that you're going to need to use all 32 squares. All right, let me get back to marking all of them. Okay, so the directions are showing us that we're going to put the square on top, right here, of our rectangle. My line is from the top up here to down here. And instead of sewing up here, which it could jam in my machine, I'm going to go from here to there. So I'm just going to turn it this way as I sew it. All of the red are showing that the background is on the right top hand corner. All the green are in the opposite direction. So when we get ready to sew a green one, which I'll put out here for you to see it, we're going to do just the opposite. So you're going to put your square on like this. So instead of, actually I think I got it backwards. I just did all that and did it backwards. Son of a gun. Okay. There we go. That's why it's good to lay it out. So if you lay it out and you're looking at it, you can see the marks. So this will get sewn and flipped up this direction. This will get sewn and flipped up that direction. Okay? And that's it. So I'm just going to set this one aside just like that so I don't forget what it looks like. And then I will sew all of my red rectangles first and then all of my green ones. We'll just go one from the other. And like I said, I'm going to turn it upside down. So make sure it's on there correctly. If you need to use pins or a little glue, go ahead and do that. Or even clips if you want to. If you're a clip kind of person. I'm not necessarily. And we're just going to take our time. Now, what I normally do is I will make sure that I stay on the left of the line because the fabric is more apt to have less when you're done. It's hard to explain it, but I stay to the left of my sewing line so I have more of my fabric that goes over. I mean, I try to stay on the line, but if I can't, I'm staying to the left of the line. Because when you think about it, your line is really not the exact size as your thread going over the top. I'll show you here in a minute. So just get the next one out, and I'm just going to repeat the process. And you guys can do the same exact thing. And as soon as I get done making enough of them to make one star, then I'm going to go ahead and quit. And then I'll go back and I will repeat this process. Let's see. I want to make sure I got it on there right. I don't want to be doing it. Don't want to have to take it all out. And make sure that you have it on there right before you actually cut it. Okay. So they should all look the same and go the same direction. Hopefully my hands are not in the way. And I'm just laying it out since I'm sewing it this exact way. And we're going to need 4 of these for 1 star. When I say 4 of these, I say 4 meaning the red with my background fabric. We'll start with the green. Now you'll have them that looks like this, and now we're going to sew them together, and then when they've all sewn together, we will add the squares to them. In order to nestle these, you need to iron them differently. So I ironed this one here to the blue, and this one here to the green, because when you put them together, they need to nestle down here at the corner, right here. So that's what you're keeping in mind when you iron them. So when you're finished, you'll have 4 of these, and it tells you to just press it whichever way you want, and I actually pressed it down the middle. Just letting you all know. You don't have to do that. I just did that for myself. All right, so let's set it up to make the square. Or, excuse me, to make the star. All right, I have it all laid out. So I'm going to sew it in rows. So I'm going to sew that square to that rectangle to that square. And then as I get each row finished, then I will sit and sew each row together. So let's start with the top one. All right, so I'm not going to do any pinning. Nothing is matching. So we're just going to literally sew it straight on down, 1/4 inch. And I'll go ahead and sew the next square to the next one, just so I can keep the chain stitch going here. This thing flip over, so I'm going to sew it upside down, just so it doesn't flip over on me. Right here. There we go. Okay. And then the last one down here on this last row, and I'm going to turn it upside down so that the on this side here don't flip up. They will be facing downward. All right, let's cut those apart and line them up. All right, for those that got lost along the way, because I was chain stitching, all I did was put these two together, these two together, and these two together. Now I'm going to attach that to that, that to that, and that to that. Okay? Still continue the chain stitching. So we're going to do this one. I'm going to take the second roll, do it. Slow down a little bit right here. There we go. Line it up the best you can. And then the last one. Uh-oh, and it's got a boo-boo on it. Hold on 1 second. Alright, I had that square on the wrong end of the block, so I don't know how that happened, but that's okay. Got it straight now. And then I'm going to go ahead and iron these before we sew the rows together. Alright, now you're going to want to nestle the inside. So take care there and pay attention. I took my top row and I ironed it outward so that I'll be able to see the points down here when I have to mark them. Eventually I'm going to have to mark them somewhere. There we go. And that's the first 2 rows. Now I'm going to pin the next 2. I am so happy that I changed out my colors from that green to this blue. I really, really like it. Alrighty, so we're going to take our square and we're going to put the strip on it. You can put it anywhere you want. They're all the same size around. I may go ahead and turn it only because the candy canes are going up and down. I think I want my strip up there at the top. So there we have it. So let's go ahead and sew that on. Don't forget, when you get ready to put this top on of the star, you're going to mark your tip. So I marked this one in red, and when I came over here to the red one, I marked it in blue. Well, it looks like it's black, but it's actually blue or purple. So come right above the section that crosses over here, and you won't take your tip off. And I'm actually going to sew it on this side. Okay? And I want to make sure that I sew it so that I can actually see where I can go over these lines. So the fabric that I've added is on the back. We're just going to slowly come up to our line that we've drawn on here and be real careful. Keep in mind, if you go too far away, you can always go closer, because you can go back over it if you want to. And there we go. We'll take a look at it. Well, there we have all 4, and they are absolutely beautiful. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this week making this star block. And I can't wait to see what's coming up next week. But I really like my choice of this blue that I chose. It was between a darker one, this one, and a lighter one, actually. And I kind of like this one. I'm glad I went with the darker. But I went ahead and I kept these candy canes upright on all of them, so they're all correct that way. I made sure that all my trees were going down. I didn't care about the red. That was fine. But like I said, I hope you enjoyed this. I will see you next week. If you'd like to make a comment, you may. If you haven't subscribed yet and you want to, go ahead and subscribe. And I'll see you next week. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Bye-bye.